You join me on day 3 of my Scottish NC500 road trip in the CUPRA Formentor. Previously, I drove from Bradford to Inverness and then through the Black Isle onto the most northern part of mainland UK. In day 3, I'll be travelling from Thurso to Achmelvich in the west part of the Highlands. On the way, I encounter sandy beaches, cool experiences and disaster. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel as 90% of my viewers haven't yet subscribed.
Right, so here we go, we're starting day 3, and as you will have noticed, I'm not wearing a coat today because the weather is beautiful today. The sun is out. I'm being told back in England it's raining and miserable today, but it's beautiful up here. So today I'm gonna set off from Thurso, make my way to the next night stop, which is in Achmelvich, and on the way we're gonna see some pretty interesting stuff. The first stop of the day is Strati Beach, but I want to talk about the fuel in this car, something which I haven't really mentioned in great detail before, particularly the fuel economy. Now, this car's fuel economy is actually quoted at around 32 miles per gallon average. I've been getting, around the city, I've been getting quite a lot less than that, maybe mid-20s, but that's because it is very addictive to put the car into sport or CUPRA mode quite often. On this journey, however, I've not really actually had a look at my fuel economy. Oh wow, look how beautiful that is. That's the Orkneys behind. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. So yeah, beautiful coastal road. The fuel economy of this car, I wasn't able to tell you earlier how much fuel this car used because CUPRA gave me the car with a full tank of fuel, but I'm not complaining. And I used around half a tank around the city of Bradford in a couple of days. So I had to fill up in T-Bay, I think it was that I filled up. I don't actually remember now. And I used up basically a full tank to get me to Perth. The last time I filled up on fuel was in Perth. And from Perth to Inverness to Loch Ness and then up all the way to Thurso, it used just over half a tank. So I've just filled up now again, so I'm back on a full tank. It cost me around £45 just for, I think it was in between half and 3/4 of a tank that I had to fill up. But yeah, I think it's got a 40 litre fuel tank, so it's got a okay sized fuel tank, but it didn't cost me huge amounts of money to fill it up, and I'm actually so surprised as to how far we've come with it. From Bradford all the way to here, I think the journey has been around 500 miles at least, maybe more, and the car's done well so far on fuel. I'm surprised. I thought I'd be filling up more often, but I think I can easily get to Achmelvich today on less than 3/4 of a tank. So I'll keep you updated on that progress. But now we're gonna head to Strati. As I've been talking, there is a slight bit of rain, but I think generally the sky is a bit more clearer than it was yesterday. So I'm quite optimistic. So let's continue the journey, and I'll keep you updated about the car.
The weather held on as we drove towards Strati Bay, excited at what lay ahead. I even got to have a go at going off-road too. But soon we reached the calm waters of Strati Beach. Strati Beach is surrounded by cliffs, which makes it a quiet spot to relax. The remote beach is fed by the river Strati and is a popular spot for surfers. As we plunged further towards the western side of the Highlands, the excitement grew, as the scenery was just getting better and better.
Right, so as I mentioned earlier, I am currently in the backseat of the CUPRA Formentor. We're on the part of the NC500 that takes you from Strati Beach to Sango Sands. So there's a lot of twisty bends, a lot of coastal roads, a lot of dynamic driving, 60 mile an hour speed limit, so you could be going actually really quite fast. So my driver is actually driving very dynamically, and I am getting thrown around in the back here. We're on a bit of a nice strip piece of road at the moment, so that's good. But I just wanted to mention the rear space. So in the rear, because you might have families, you might want to, you know, there might be kids in the back, or sometimes you might be transporting several people. You could be doing the NC500 with 3 or more people. So what is it like in the back? Well, actually, it's quite comfortable. I've got loads of leg room. You can see all the leg room here. That of course depends on your passenger, whether how far or back or forward they have the seat. But this seat currently is not that far back, sorry, forward rather, and I've got plenty of space. Headroom is fine. I mean, I did just hit my head a little, but I am wearing my hat as well. Of course, with this being the Formentor, it has that sort of slightly curved roofline, sloping roofline, but it's fine. I've got loads of room. I can move about, and I feel like you could probably fit 3 decent sized passengers in the back. You could probably fit passengers same height as me, same size as me in the back. But yeah, the seats in the back are just as comfortable as the seats in the front. They cushion you really well, and because there's so much visibility, the windows are nice and big, loads of light coming through, especially with the panoramic sunroof. I'm not feeling sick back here. It's quite enjoyable, and if I was a passenger in the NC500, and unfortunately if I was demoted to the back seat, I probably would be happy, to be honest. We've been using this back seat for our just load of our luggage and generic stuff, so food, which you can see on this side, there's just a load of mess as I moved it over so I can take a seat in the back. But yeah, back seat of this car is fine. As a family car, I think it works really well as well. So yeah, if you're considering buying a CUPRA Formentor, then I think it's quite useful to know this. So that's why, in order to make this a very comprehensive review, I've got to test out the back seat as well.
Soon, I got back into the driver's seat and headed through yet more spectacular Scottish scenery. And when we reached the next beach, we were in for a treat, because this beach comes with its own zip line. After that cool experience, we moved forward to Smoo Cave. Popular amongst tourists, Smoo Cave is unique in the UK as it has several chambers that have been formed by the sea and fresh water respectively. Inside you can also see the beautiful waterfall that is intensified during wet weather. We had to move on, however, to one of the most beautiful beaches I have ever seen in my life. Sango Sands. Also known as Sango Bay, the beach is split by craggy rocks and sea stacks, which provide a 360 degrees view of the beach via the Sango Bay viewpoint. We spent much of our afternoon here, admiring the beauty, imagining we were in the Caribbean or something. After a quick stop at Cocoa Mountain, we got back on the road, heading through Sutherland.
Just finished from Sango Sands Beach, and now we're heading down to Kylesku Bridge. We are well and truly in the west of the Highlands, and the scenery is just getting more and more beautiful. I've also noticed that we're on a lot more single track roads, so if you are coming to do the NC500, just be aware that there are a lot of single track roads, but there are also a lot of passing places, one every 30 meters or so, just like this one right here. And this gentleman stopped so we can just go past him. it can be a challenge to some people, especially when there's some hills and mountains that you're going to be driving up and down and you can't see around the bends. But generally the roads are like this, they're nice and open, you can see a car coming for miles, so you can plan ahead and you can get into the passing place nice and easily and give the other motorist way. And everybody's really nice, everybody will give you way. They will let you overtake as well if you're, you know, they won't hold anybody up. Sometimes you'll stop to let somebody through and they'll stop to let you through. So yeah, it's really a good atmosphere up here in the Highlands of Scotland. But like I said, there are a lot of single track roads, and today, as always, we were behind on schedule, so that meant I had to focus on driving to get to Sango Sands Bay. We wanted to go to Cocoa Mountain before it closes, because we've heard they do some amazing hot chocolate. So I basically put the car in sport mode and just went for it. So this car is really good at driving in sport mode, very dynamic, very great at accelerating. It sounds cool, but the performance that you get, you can feel it in basically in kinetic energy, the way it moves, the way it turns. It's got a 4-wheel drive as well, so you're always really confident in just putting it into the bends and just sending it. Overtaking, well, everybody lets you overtake anyway, so that's not a problem. But yeah, I put the car into sports mode and I basically got about 23 miles to a gallon. In sports mode, I basically averaged around 23 miles to the gallon, but I felt like I got here really quick. I really ringed out all the performance in the car, and what a capable car. It just took everything in its stride. The brakes as well, like we just experienced then. The brakes are performance brakes, they've got Brembo calipers, they just stop so well. In fact, I don't actually think that I've had to use the brakes as hard as they're capable of, because I don't want everything in the back just flying at me. But it is a great car to do this NC500 road trip in. I've seen a lot of camper vans, I've seen a lot of different types of vehicles. I've even seen people do it on motorcycles. So if you want to do the NC500 on motorcycle, I'm sure you'll be able to see some amazing scenery like this. You can even do it on bikes, on pedal bikes, push bikes. People even do this running. I'm obviously a car person, so we like cars, car enthusiasts, so I would love to do this in a car that has everything. The CUPRA Formentor, it has dynamic driving, but it's also essentially an SUV, 4-wheel drive. It's just a full package, I think. And now we're gonna head to Kylesku Bridge. If you're a fan of Top Gear, which I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably are a fan of Top Gear, Kylesku Bridge is the bridge where Rory Reid took the Mustang in his first ever Top Gear video, and that was the one that sort of put him on the map, and everybody really liked it, and basically we all got to know Rory Reid. That was on Kylesku Bridge, so that's where I'm going to go now, and hopefully we'll get some beautiful shots of the car there.
The journey to Kylesku Bridge was enjoyable. It felt like we were slowly cruising to the end of our day. As we headed over Kylesku Bridge, there was a sense of accomplishment. We made it. But slightly after we crossed the remarkable bridge, disaster struck, putting our trip into jeopardy. Tune in next time as I explain what happened to the tyre, and as I try to make it home. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel so I can bring you more incredible journeys like this one.